Namaskaram everyone, welcome back to the 6th episode of our Master Unreal series, and in this episode we are going to implement gameplay tags. The first objective would be to create the correct structure of gameplay tags. Second, we are going to create a component for managing the tags, and in the third step we are going to bind the gameplay tags with the events such that whenever a gameplay tag changes, the subscribers gets notified. So that subscriber could be anything. It could be a blueprint, animation blueprint for example, or it could be an AI controller or any other. Okay, before we start, I would like to demonstrate a situation via a game called Sekiro. In this, we are going to see how the gameplay tags are used. So I want you to observe this very carefully. I'm going to perform the first situation where I'm going to drink the water to heal myself, and you will see the enemy attacks with a move. Now you'll see when I go in an idle state, it will attack me with the same move. So this is one of the implementations where the gameplay tags are used. So for example, if you are in idle state or you are drinking the healing potion or you are performing some ability. So at that moment, till that ability is over, you get a tag on yourself, and that tag can be read by an AI enemy or animation blueprint, or it could be anything, and that allows you to perform different actions based on the tags. So we are going to make an implementation that will allow you to do these kind of stuffs in your game. So let's first look at the tags arrangement. Let's assume we have a base tag called state. Everything that is written in this particular slide is tag, okay? It's just the tag has a hierarchy system that we can use to arrange the tags. So let's say under the state we have three tags: movement, locomotion, and stance. So for example, under movement we have falling and moving. Under locomotion we have running, walking, and sneaking. And under stance we have crouching and standing. Now if we speak a bit logically, you can either run or walk or sneak. You cannot do running and walking at the same time. And if we talk about stance, let's say, you can either crouch or stand. Similarly, you can either move or fall. So we do not want to allow multiple tags in such cases from the same category. So to make it more visually clear, this box represents that you can select multiple tags, but if something is dot, that means you can either select one of them. So you can crouch and move at the same time. So this is what I'm trying to demonstrate here, that what we are going to implement is going to be this. So if you add any tag from locomotion, the old tag will be removed. So if you are walking and then you start running, the walking tag will be removed. If you are standing and you press Ctrl to crouch, then the standing tag will be removed and it will be changed to crouching. So that's what we are trying to implement. So you can perform locomotion, movement, and stance all at the same time or in a pair, but you cannot do falling or moving at the same time, or running, walking, sneaking. Okay, so we are in the game now. If you haven't watched the previous videos, please do, because we have already implemented this walking, strafing movements, hip rotation, and all that in the previous episodes. Go in the edit, plugins, search for gameplay abilities, and mark this box checked, and this will give you a pop-up to restart the editor. So restart. Once you are done, go in the edit, in the project settings, search for gameplay tags, and click on this manage gameplay tags. Now this is going to give you some existing ones, but we are going to create our own. So let's create first call state dot locomotion dot walking. Okay, press enter. It will give you this error. Make sure the source is selected, the file where these tags has to be written. Select it again, press enter, and it will add. Now you can do one thing, that is right click, duplicate. Now this will bring this tag again here. Just replace the walking with running, press enter, then again create one more. So duplicate and call it sneaking. Now we are not going to implement sneaking, but still, just to show you the options and all that possibilities, I'm adding a few. Now let's create another one, that is state dot movement dot falling. Press enter, duplicate it, and replace the falling with moving. We are done with the movement. Now let's add last state dot stance dot crouching. Okay, then we have duplicate it again, right click, copy it, remove the crutch, standing, press enter. Now paste that again here, stance dot proning. Once you are done, close it. You have your tags ready. Now we are going to create a blueprint for our character that is going to manage the tags. Right click, select the blueprint class, choose the actor component. So we will say BPC underscore tag manager. Okay, so now this component can be plugged in any character's blueprint class. So I'm gonna double click on it. This is going to load this very fancy UI. Now let's add a variable, call it gameplay tags, and change its type to gameplay tag container. This can store multiple tags. Okay, this type of variable. Now we want to add and remove tags in this, so we will create functions for that. So add tag, and another one is remove tag. Okay, now we are going to implement this. So let's bring out this, search for add gameplay tag. Now this thing will ask you where to add and what to add. So we are expecting a tag in input. So let's give it a name, new tag that has to be added. Change its type to gameplay tag only. Okay, not the container. Pass it here and hold control and bring this tags here. Connect it with this. Save it and compile it. Now go in the remove tag. Do the same thing. Bring out. Search for remove gameplay tag and pass it a container from where the tag has to be removed, and just select this, add an input, that is the tag that we have to remove. Make sure it is gameplay tag type, and you can plug it here. Okay, save it, compile it, we are done. So now these two can be used in the characters blueprint component. Now let's press on add and search for BPC underscore tag manager. We got our component here. Okay, so this is what we did last time in the last episode. When you press control, it will crouch and uncrouch, and when you press shift, it will run. So right now we are calling the functions to update the variable in the animation blueprint, but now we are going to replace it with the gameplay tags. So let's start from the run animation. So right now when the shift key is pressed, we want to check whether the character is crouched or not. If he is crouched, then we want to uncrouch and then start running. So let's delete it and search for add tag from the BPC tag manager. Now you will see it automatically brings out the component. Delete this as well. Now if the shift key is released, then you want to remove the tag. So search for remove tag in BPC tag manager again and delete this and use this one instead, since we are already having this, and connect this. And now we want to state dot locomotion dot running. We want to add this tag, and we want to remove this same tag if you release the key. Let's move on to the walking. We still want to do that. So under the movement input, we are going to expand it, and as soon as the key is pressed, we want to add the tag, right? So we are going to call add tag again. Now if the key is released, then we want to remove the tag. So we'll say remove tag here, and let's delete it. Connect it with this to this. Select the tag that we want to add, because the W means you want to move or you are moving. Now it doesn't matter whether you are running, walking or what, but there's a movement, so we want to detect that only. and we are going to remove this. Let's beautify this. Now let's go to our animation blueprint where we want to receive these tags. Under animations, ABP base, this is what we created, and last time we were calling this update locomotion state function to update whether the character was running or not. Now this is going to be removed, but before this we want to go in this event graph and we want to call initialize event blueprint initialize animation. So as soon as this blueprint is initialized, which will be done once, we are going to call the property access node so that we can get the pawn owner. So try get pawn owner. So whoever owns this animation blueprint, we will get it. Search for cast to BPC third person character. Connect this to this. Now once this is done, we are going to add the tag listener, and this will bring out the tag manager, and let's connect this cast node to this so that we can get this tag manager from this owner. Once this is done, now you see we want to pass an event. So let's create an event first. Now this event locomotion changed. Okay, and I want to call my function that is update locomotion state. Now this function is we created here. You can create it if you are not following with the series. So this is going to be that function that is going to be called when the tag changes. But now we do not have any input that will take the tag and the event. So for that we have to go into the BPC tag manager and we will create an input, call it tag, and the type should be the gameplay tag. So now this add tag listener will provide us the tag option. Now we need to bind this event to this. But when it comes to binding the event, we also want certain context, certain information. It could be anything like who changed the tag, right? Or what's the current count, or tell me the last active tag, or it could be anything. So to have that information, we will create a structure. So name it s underscore gameplay tag context. Okay. Now you can have all your information here. So what I want to know at this moment is the tag itself. So, and we also want to know if the tag was added or it was removed. So we will call is added and it will be of type boolean. Okay, now save it, close it, and go to our BPC tag manager. Now we have the structure. Now this is the structure that this bind event should follow. So to generalize it, we will go to event graph and create a custom event and name it signature. And why I named it this signature, you will know in a second. So if I bring out this dispatcher here and call it bind, now you can bring out any one of them and you connect this to this. Now what this means is if you select the locomotion state change, you will see it gives you an option of copy signature from. Now you can see our signature custom event is available. Now whatever structure of input and output we provide for this particular bind event of locomotion state change is going to be followed by this signature. And then for other dispatchers, we can copy the same structure like this. Let me show you. If you select signature here and if you add an input, call it context and search for s underscore gameplay tag context. Now you'll see it is available here. Now if you select other dispatchers, you can copy the signature from this signature event and you will see that all of these event dispatchers follow the same signature, right? Now if you compile it and go to ABP base, you will see nothing at this moment because we want to connect this to this. Now if you compile again, you will see that the event option is available under the tag listener. Okay, but now we are not going to connect it at this moment. Before that, we want to know something that which tag do you want to listen to, and based on that we will choose one of them. Now you can create a function that does this job for you, or you can create a macros. So let's try macros this time. Call it determine tag. We want to know which category does it belong to at this moment. So we will create an input, accept tag in this, change this to gameplay tag. Okay, we want to bring out a branch node, so hold B and press left click. Now here we will bring another node, that is match tag. Now this node is a function that checks whether the tag 2 is present in tag 1 or not. Tag goes into the tag 1. Now we want to check whether state.locomotion is present or not in this, because if it is present then we want to plug it here. Let's add another pin for execution. Write exactly the word I'm writing, execute, and change this to exec. Now you'll see it will disappear and it will be just like a normal node that you have in other nodes. Okay, now you can connect this to this. We will do the same thing here. We will create 4, let's say. First would be the locomotion, second would be the movement, third would be stance, and fourth could be any other. Okay, so it's not like that this function is just bound for the category system. It can allow multiple tags as well, but let's go with our requirements first. So if it's locomotion, if the state.locomotion is present in this, so if you go in the ABP base, I will select running because that's what I want to spy on, right? So state.locomotion.running includes the state.locomotion. So this will satisfy true in that case, and this will result into locomotion. But if it is not true, then we are going to bring out another branch node. We are going to duplicate this and we are going to bring it again here. We will beautify it later, and this will be changed to state.movement. Now if state.movement is present, then we want to go into the movement. Now if that is not the case either, then we want to again go for a branch node, and then we want to check our third category. So let's duplicate it again, plug this to this, change this to stance. Okay, now you can select only one at a time. That's and if it is false, that means none of them is true, so it has to be some other category. Now we don't care about it right now. Now let's beautify this. Okay, so this is looking much better than the previous one. Right, now let's save and compile. Now if you go to your add tag listener and you bring out this macro here, you will see you have execution pin, not return node. So if you use the function to do this, it will give you the same values, but you have to again perform a branching and then you will redirect to the correct bind event node. So we use macros because it allows the multiple execution pins in the output. So we connect this to this, we provide our tag to this, it will determine. Now if it's a locomotion tag, we want to bind it to the locomotion. If it's movement, we bind here. If it stands here, we leave the other as it is. And now we also search for get event. In the variables you will find this, connect this to this, this to this, this to this. Now let's beautify it. Okay, so this looks nice. Compile it. Now whenever someone wants to listen to a tag, we will determine whether the tag belongs to these 3 categories. If so, then we will bind to these events. Otherwise we will handle the other tags in our own way. Let's go to ABP base, delete this and bring out from this, create a custom event, and locomotion changed again. Okay, now you'll see that we have the context. So now we will provide the context to this. So let's modify this function of ours. Let's delete this one and add one input, call it context. And here we can search for s underscore gameplay tag context is the structure. Right click, split the structure bin. Now you can see you got your properties. One was tag, another was is added. But first we want to check if the tag was added or removed. So we will bring out a branch node. Okay. Now if the tag was added, then we want to check whether the tag was running or not. So we will bring out the node match is tag. We will provide the first tag as it is, and the second one would be exactly the precise tag that we are looking for, that is running. Now we have to check mark this. Exact match is self-explanatory. It will match precisely the same thing, but if you uncheck it, that means if this is present in this or not. Okay, so if it is exactly running tag, then we will update the running, that would be true. And if it is not running, then we will set it to false, because we are only listening to the locomotion, and in locomotion we can have only one tag active. So that means if it is running, then we set it to true. If it is not, then it will automatically become false. But let's say if the tag was not added, it was removed, then no matter what tag was removed, we will set the is running to false. Okay, so it is not necessary that you have to move every time. You can just stay in the idle situation. So you have to make the running false. Okay, I hope this makes sense. Let's compile. Now this work is done. So now we need to tell this animation blueprint, or for that matter anyone, that the tag has been changed. So we need to create a function in the tag manager. Let's call it notify tag change. Okay, so this will notify everyone based on the tag. So this will accept an input. Let's call it tag, and the gameplay tag. We will add another one, is added. This will tell whether the tag is added or removed. So we will call the determine tag. If it is, then we will bring out this call. Okay, and moment call stance changed call. Alright, so we plugged into this to this to this, and this one to this one. So now this notify tag change will be called, and this will pass the tag to this macro, and once this macro evaluates, it will give us the correct direction, but we need to pass the context as well. So let's create gameplay context. So make s underscore gameplay. Alright, so we have the tag. Let's pass the tag here. Is it added? Okay, we made a mistake. Is added should be a boolean, and we should be here. Alright, we are good. Now we can pass this gameplay context to everyone. Alright, this is done. Let's compile. Now in the add tag, once we have added the tag, we will notify. So we will call notify the tag change. Since this function is for adding, we will allow add, and the tag. So let's hit compile. Now we are done with the notify part. Let's go to our base blueprint. Under the event graph, now we can connect this to this. We can connect the context to this. Now compile. This event should be event begin play, not the initialize one. Now this will run when the animation blueprint is loaded. So play again. You can see now you can run. Okay, but you keep running. You see, because when you remove the tag, that is not being notified. So let's go to our remove tag and notify here as well. So notify tag change. Is the tag removed? Yes, so let's leave it unchecked. And what was that tag? So let's connect this to this. Now after notifying, let's play again. You can see I'm running and then I'm stop. So let's come to our character blueprint. Here in the event begin play, I think we can remove this now. So now we want to debug our tags. We need to make sure that tag container is only containing the tags that are valid at that point. So for that, I'm going to right click here and search for break gameplay tag container. Now this will give us an array. So we will search for each loop. Let's bring the BPC tag manager, access the gameplay tags here, and let's plug this to this. All right. Now once this is plugged, we will search for set timer by event. So this node will run an event that we are going to create now every second or whatever time that you provide here. Add a custom event actually and show tags. This is what we want. Okay, so I have organized things a bit. Now we want to call this event and this will start a loop, and that loop will keep printing the tags. Now the tags would be array element get tag name, and this name would be converted to string. Now we enable looping. This means it keeps running and it should print every 2.2 seconds. Compile and play. Now if you see, it keeps tagging moving. Now if I stop my keys, the gameplay tag is empty, but if I run, you can see I'm running. The running tag is removed, but the moving is still there. If I remove moving, it's fine. Okay, so now let's handle our crutch and uncrutch. So for this, we are going to go here. If I uncrutch, then I'm going to remove the tag, and that would be here. And if I am going to add a tag here, I'm going to again plug this to this like this. Now if it's crutching, then I want to add or remove the crutching stance. Okay, now if I press compile again and play, if I crutch, it keeps giving me crutching because the crutch tag is on. But if I run, it's still giving me running, moving and crutching. So that means the crutch tag is not removed. So when you run, you are just uncrutching, but you are not removing the tag that you were supposed to remove. So what we can do here is we can copy this remove tag, paste it here, bring here, and I'll connect this uncrush to this. Now this will remove this tag, and then after removing it will add another tag. Okay, so now if I compile and play, I'm moving, I'm running and moving, but if I leave and if I crutch, I'm crutching. If I run, then the crutching tag is gone. So everything is working fine. Another thing that you might notice is that if you hold shift, it keeps giving me running, but my character is not actually moving. That means we should allow running only when you are moving as well. So we will go to our tag manager, and in this we are going to add a function. Let's call it validate tag before adding. Okay, so in this we are going to bring out the matches tag. Now this will check if this input tag, and we go gameplay tag. Now we'll check if the state dot locomotion is present in this. If it is present, then we are going to bring out a branch node. Now we will check. If that's the case, then we need to ensure that the character is moving. Okay, so we will bring has tag. In this we are going to bring the gameplay tags. We are going to connect this, and we are going to check if the character is moving. Okay, movement can be done in a various ways, but the control movement is determined by this tag. So we will check exact match this time, and we will bring a return node, and we will add an output. Let's call it is allowed. Now if the locomotion is present, that means the character wants to move, so the movement should be present. So we go like this. So now if locomotion is present, then we check for moving. If it is present, then allow, otherwise don't. But let's say it's not a locomotion tag, it's some other tag, then for now we don't have any logic to check. So let's just say is allowed. And now we compile and let's go to add tag. Now before adding, let's break this a bit and bring out this separately like this, and we are going to bring and validate the tag before adding. Okay, so now if the validate tag before adding is allowed, then only we will add the tag. So let's add a branch in between. Okay, so we check and validate. If it is allowed, then only we will add, otherwise we will not. So let's compile it, play again. Now if I hold shift, you can see it is no longer adding the tag run in, but if I hold W and then press shift, it is running. Alright, so that's it for this video. I wanted to make this episode of 1 hour, but I decided to break it down into 2 so that you have some time to digest what is happening in the implementation. So in this particular episode, we saw how to add or remove the gameplay tags, how to publish, how to bind the events, how to notify the tag changes to all other subscribers that are listening to the tag. Now in the next episode, we are going to implement a little more complex management of the tags, not in the character blueprint, but in the gameplay tag manager. So right now everything is binded to your keys, right? Whenever you press something, it adds the tag. If you release something, it removes the tag, right? And you saw that we made a validation function just to avoid a simple thing. So those kind of validation or side effects or additional dependencies, all these checks and balances are supposed to be done in the gameplay tag manager, not in your character blueprint. So that's why I thought we should divide this episode into 2 parts. First, where you learn how to do the basic stuff, and then in the second one we will discuss how to set up the more complex management for the gameplay tags. So till then, do let me know your thoughts and comments, and do like and share the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye bye.